Once upon a time, in the heart of a wealthy estate in the city of Onitsha, stood a mansion so grand that people stopped to take photos of its gates. This was the house of Chief Umeh. He was a man whose wealth was loud, but his heart was very small. At the gate of this mansion lived a young man named Emeka. Emeka was the chief's gateman. He lived in a tiny room by the entrance, wore faded clothes, and spent his days opening the heavy iron gates for cars he could only dream of sitting in. Chief Umeh did not just pay Emeka, he owned him. He often called Emeka the boy with the empty head. Whenever the chief was angry, he would vent his frustrations on Emeka. One rainy evening, the chief returned home and found a small spot of mud on the driveway. He forced Emeka to scrub the entire driveway with a toothbrush while the rain poured on him, laughing from his balcony as the young man walked. The chief's daughter, Sandra, was no different. She would throw her trash on the ground right in front of Emeka and order him to pick it up. "You were born to serve people like us, Emeka," she would say with a wicked smile. "Learn to enjoy the dust, because you will never see the gold." Emeka never complained. He would simply bow his head and say, "Yes, small madam." But there was something strange about Emeka. Every night, exactly at 2 a.m., when the mansion was silent and the moon was high, the gate would creak open. A man dressed in a dark hoodie would slip out. This man would walk the streets of the wealthy estate, sweeping the gutters and picking up the trash that the rich residents left behind. One night, a neighbor's security guard saw the man. He noticed that the street sweeper was wearing a watch that glowed in the dark. A watch that looked like it cost more than the chief's mansion. Before the guard could call out, the man vanished into the shadows. Meanwhile, a storm was gathering over Chief Umeh's head. His business empire, which he thought was unshakable, began to crack. His greedy assistant, Kanayo, had been cooking the books. Suddenly, the banks came calling. The chief was told that a silent investor had bought up all his debt. This mysterious investor now owned his cars, his office, and even the very mansion he lived in. Chief Umeh was terrified. He tried to call his wealthy friends, but they all turned their backs on him. He was told he had 48 hours to meet the silent investor at a secret office in the city to beg for his life, or he would be thrown onto the streets. The morning of the meeting arrived. The chief's house was in chaos. Sandra was crying because her bank cards were blocked. The chief was trembling as he prepared his suit. As he drove out of the gate, he saw Emeka standing there, holding the gate open as usual. The chief rolled down his window and spat on the ground. "Move out of the way, you useless boy. When I return from meeting the big boss, you are fired. I don't want to see your poor face when I am back on top." Emeka simply bowed. "Safe journey, Chief. May you find exactly what you are looking for." Chief Umeh arrived at the grandest office building in the city. He walked past rows of beautiful secretaries who looked at him with pity. He reached the top floor, where the door was made of solid gold. His heart was beating like a drum. "Come in," a voice said from inside. The chief walked in and fell to his knees immediately, not even looking up. Great investor, please have mercy on me. Don't take my house. I'll do anything. I'm a big man. I cannot become a beggar. The man in the high-backed chair turned around. He wasn't wearing a suit. He was wearing the same faded shirt and the same trousers the chief had seen every morning at his gate. Chief Umeh looked up and his eyes nearly fell out of his head. Emeka, what are you doing here? Did you follow me to steal? Emeka leaned forward, his eyes as sharp as a needle. Chief, I told you I would open the gate for you one last time. But this time, I am the one deciding if you are allowed to enter. The chief sat on the floor, his mouth wide open. He looked at the luxury office, then at the man he had forced to scrub the floor with a toothbrush. Emeka reached into his desk and pulled out a small, mud-stained toothbrush. He tossed it onto the expensive rug in front of the chief. You have 10 minutes to tell me why I shouldn't throw you and your daughter into the street tonight, Emeka said coldly. But as the chief began to beg, the door burst open. It was the police. But they weren't there for the chief. They were looking for Emeka. The silence in the office was so heavy you could hear a needle drop. Chief Umeh was still on his knees, staring at the toothbrush on the floor, while the police stood at the door. He felt a sudden surge of wicked joy. Yes! Arrest him! The chief shouted, pointing a trembling finger at Emeka. I knew it! He is a thief! He stole the money he used to buy my debt. Take him away! But Inspector Okoro did not move toward Emeka. Instead, he stepped forward and gave a deep, respectful bow. Chairman Emeka, the inspector said, we have completed the investigation you requested. We have caught your assistant, Kanayo, at the border. He was carrying the 3 billion naira he stole from Chief Umeh's companies. We also found the document showing how he tried to frame the chief for tax evasion. The chief's heart stopped. He looked from the inspector to Emeka. Emeka stood up slowly. Thank you, Inspector. Bring the files. It is time for Chief to understand why I stayed at his gate for 2 years. Emeka turned to the chief, whose face was now pale with shame. You see, Chief, 2 years ago, I didn't have this office. I was a young man who lost his father to the same greed that almost destroyed you today. My father was your business partner when you started. Do you remember the man who gave you your first loan? The man you cheated and left to die in poverty. Chief Umeh gasped. You? You are the son of Mazi Okafor? Yes, Emeka replied, his voice calm but cold. When my father died, I vowed to get back everything you took from him. But I didn't want to just take your money. I wanted to see if you had changed. I moved into your house as a gateman to see if the man who became a chief had learned to treat human beings with respect. I wanted to see if I could forgive you. He stepped closer to the chief. But for 2 years, all I saw was a man who enjoyed stepping on those he thought were beneath him. You made me scrub the floor in the rain. You let your daughter treat me like a dog. You forgot that the wheel of life is always turning. The chief began to cry. Emeka, please, I am sorry. I didn't know. I will change. I promise. At that moment, the office door opened again and Sandra walked in, escorted by another officer. She had been brought from the mansion. She was no longer wearing her expensive jewelry. She looked small and frightened. When she saw Emeka sitting in the golden chair, she screamed, "What is he doing here, Dad? Why is the gateman sitting there?" "Sandra, be quiet!" The chief barked. "He owns everything. He owns the cars, the house, and our very lives." Sandra fell into a chair. Her pride finally shattered. Emeka looked at both of them. "I have two documents here," Emeka said, holding up two files. "The first one is the eviction notice. It will put you and your daughter on the street today with nothing but the clothes on your backs. The second one is a partnership agreement. It returns 40% of the business to you, but on one condition." The chief looked up, hope in his eyes. "Any condition, anything." "You will move out of the mansion," Emeka said. "You and Sandra will live in the small gateman's quarters for 1 year. You will work as the caretakers of the estate. You will sweep the streets at night, just as I did, to clean the filth you helped create. If you can do that with a humble heart, the business will be yours again. If you complain even once, you lose everything." The chief looked at his soft hands, then at the faded gateman's room he had mopped for years. He had no choice. He signed the paper. As the months passed, the people of the estate saw a strange sight. The great Chief Umeh and his beautiful daughter, Sandra, were seen every morning sweeping the driveway and opening the gate for others. At first, they were ashamed, but as they walked, their hearts began to change. They started to talk to the other servants. They learned their names. They learned that every human being has a story. Emeka watched them from the balcony of the mansion he had finally reclaimed for his father's name. He saw that the useless gateman had finally taught the big man how to be a human being. Dear friends, this story is a mirror for all of us. Sometimes, the person you are looking down on today is the person who holds the key to your survival tomorrow. Position is temporary, but character is internal. Chief Umeh lost his wealth to find his soul. Emeka hid his glory to find justice. What do you think of Emeka's punishment? Was he too kind to give them the gateman's quarters, or should he have thrown them out completely? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoy this true life tale, like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this lesson. Subscribe to African True Life Tales by Ada and hit that notification bell. We have many more stories that will touch your heart and change your perspective. Remember, the person you meet on your way up is the same person you will meet on your way down. Treat everyone with kindness. Stay blessed, and I will see you in the next tale.